everyone, my name's Emily, and today I'm going to be talking about a tiny little book of the Bible called Philemon, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is a letter written by the Apostle Paul, who wrote lots of letters in the New Testament to churches especially, to the man Philemon, who lived at Colossae, and he was a slave owner. And basically the letter, for a little bit of context for the letter, Philemon's slave, Onesimus, ran away from him, found Paul and became Christian. And then this is a letter from Paul to his slave owner, to Philemon, asking that he would take him back. So basically I'm going to kind of talk about the insane way in which this is such a lovely mirroring of the gospel. And even though, it's not the gospel, it's not the story of Jesus, it is the things that Jesus did for us. It is the message of Jesus, I think, in a really gorgeous little book. I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about specifically 4 things which the stories parallel. So, firstly, we have done wrong. Secondly, Jesus sees that and loves us. Thirdly, our debt is cleared by his personal sacrifice. And fourth, we are elevated from slaves to sons. We are restored by Jesus. So, firstly, we have done wrong. In the story of Philemon, in the letter, we can see that Onesimus ran away from his master. He did wrong. He did wrong by Philemon, and he was unfaithful to him as a slave. We have done wrong. We have sinned. And so that's the first one. Second one, Jesus sees that and he loves us. When Onesimus ran away and found Paul, who was in prison at the time, by the way, Paul knew that he was a runaway slave, and he knew that he was unfaithful, and he knew that he had done wrong by his master, but he loved him genuinely. And in the letter to Philemon, he says, I am sending him who is my very heart back to you. He loves him genuinely with his whole heart, in the way that Jesus loves us. Number 3, our debt is cleared by his personal sacrifice. When Paul wrote to Philemon, he says that if Onesimus has done anything wrong by you, anything personally, any debt that needs to be cleared, I will do it myself. I will take on his debt and I will pay it. He says, I, Paul, am writing this to you in my own hand. I will pay it back. He promises that he will pay whatever sacrifice that needs to be made for Onesimus to be welcomed back by Philemon. And number 4 is, I've headed it, we are elevated from slaves to sons. Onesimus was a slave, but in his letter Paul calls him his son. And what a huge restoration that is. Because both of them lived in Colossae, Paul also wrote a letter to the Colossians, to the church at Colossae, and in it, so it's a huge public letter, was taken very seriously, and in it Paul says, please welcome back Onesimus, our faithful and dear brother in the Lord, which are things that everybody else knew that maybe he wasn't. Everybody else knew that he had been unfaithful to his master. Everyone else knew that he had done wrong by Philemon, but they took Paul super seriously, and Paul giving his word like that and declaring him equal with them is a huge deal, and such redemptive love from Paul. He's a fellow man and a brother, wow. And that's what we are under Jesus. We are, because we are all loved equally by Jesus, we are all equal under Jesus, and there is no more slave or free or different gender or race. We are all the same under Jesus. We're all equal, and this is such a great example of that. I love looking at the different things and finding the evidence of the gospel in there, finding the Paul being such a witness to Jesus here, and living out his example so well. So I would really encourage you to read Philemon. It's a really, really tiny little book. It won't take you very long at all, and it's so worth it just to kind of have another look and to just really delve into what Paul was talking about. Thanks so much.